We're not going to talk about it anymore. Just thinking about it makes me go, oh God. Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah and this is another weekend review. We're going to call this the I've forgotten some things for the past 2 weeks and we got to catch up edition. So first on the list, let's catch up on the things I have forgotten in the past few weeks. All of these are novellas that I read usually in a sitting and I just forgot to talk about them. The first of these is Feed by Ice. This is a short monster, I would call it monster romance with a, I think she's a succubus and they are a Mothman. I can't remember the exact species that our love interest is. It's very short, steamy, and it sets up the sequel book, which is called Insatiably Yours, which is on next month's TBR. I really, really enjoyed this. It had a lot of good character dynamic, a lot of good character setup in it, and I really liked the world, the idea behind this that Ice has set up. Their work has consistently impressed me the few times I've read it, so they are definitely on the top of my list of authors to read more of. Again, this is less than 100 pages, so if it's intriguing to you, if you like monster romance, definitely pick this one up. Their moth-like appendages and the way the wings were, it was interesting. We'll say that. We'll say it was interesting. Next was another short novella. This one's called Cupid'S by Jaco. Jaco? I'm probably saying that wrong. This is part of her seasonal romance series. There's usually a novella in each season or on a holiday. This was for Valentine's Day, and this was a sort of second chance romance. These two people were both into each other in high school, though neither knew that. The female protagonist tutored the male protagonist, and he went on to become a very famous, I believe it's hockey star, when she wanted to stay home and, you know, live a quiet life. And he has come back into town, and she gets set up on a blind date by her sister with him. I really liked the character dynamics, though. I thought they were very fun. I thought there was enough angst there to warrant the type of relationship they had, and it really built up to a satisfying relationship in the end. I really, really enjoy these novellas. I've read 2 so far. I have the 4-leaf on my Kindle now, and is it the 4-leaf or 4-leaf? I have it on my Kindle now because that's the one everybody says to read next, and I'm very excited to get to that. The next thing that I read, I think we're caught up, is 8 by Reelsy Adams. This is another super short. I was in the mood to read short romances. Super short story about a woman and the personal chef she hires for the night. I liked this one okay. It was fun. It was spicy. But after a certain point, chocolate is involved. And I have a thing about certain textures. I also have a toddler. And sticky things. I don't like sticky. I don't like sticky at all. And all I could think was, God, she's gonna be so sticky. Everything is gonna stick to her skin, her fat, her clothes. It's like syrup. I don't like syrup. Unless it's tiniest to melt, because if it touches my hands, I get a little bit of a freak out going on. Don't like sticky, and this really, really got me with the sticky. I was out of it after that point. I was like, no, she's sticky now. This is not fun anymore. So this was fun, but if you don't like food in your romances, or you also have a texture aversion to sticky as bad as mine, maybe a pass. We're not going to talk about it anymore. Just thinking about it makes me go, oh God. So onto the longer things that I read. All of these, yes, no more romance. So this is all, I'm sorry, there is one more romance. The big romance I read this week was In a Jam by Kate Canterbury. I probably wrote her name down wrong, but the picture is going to be up here. This was a very long, small town, second chance romance, and I loved it. This one had me laughing out loud so many times. My husband made a comment at several points about me laughing and what are you giggling at over there? So this was really, really fun. The third act breakup as well was not, it was great actually. It was, I was going to say it's not dissatisfying. I don't know how I was going to put it that way. It was great. It was more of a conflict between, less of a conflict between the two of them and more situations getting in the way. And it was believable. It wasn't so much a breakup as a struggling to jump over hurdles that exist in the relationship. I sincerely got to probably the 50% mark, and the main character agreed to go see her ex. She's left at the altar at the beginning of this book, and while she's still dealing with that, she finds out that her great aunt leaves her this farm in this small town. So she moves back to this farm. There is a stipulation though that she has to be married within a year and have lived on the premises to keep the farm. So she ends up in this fake arrangement with her neighbor, who is also a childhood friend. And she agrees to meet her ex at the 50% mark, and I got so upset. I was ready to be upset because I was like, this book has been 5 stars so far. She's gonna go meet this ex. We're gonna have stupid miscommunication trope, or she's gonna go back to him. It was good. It was good. I'm here to say the hype is worth it on this one. I really liked it. If you're wanting to go in for like hardcore small town vibes, it does focus in on the 2 main characters and the daughter of the male hero more so than the small town, so keep that in mind. But loved this. A few other things to note of this is the main female character is a teacher, and I really enjoyed how that was represented. I was a teacher previously, and I thought they did pretty good with, like, you know, lesson planning, stress up, all that. So I really liked that, and I loved Jeannie, the little girl in this. Her ADHD and just her personality, I really liked her. I honestly saw a lot of my own little girl in her. My daughter is younger, but just the way she bounces around on things, I really liked this. So this got a 4.5, maybe a 5 the longer I sit on it. This may be one that I buy to reread in the future because it was so delightful. The next thing I read was a novella for Tor.comathon, and that is All the Horses of Iceland by Sarah Tolmay. This is a very short novella about kind of fabulizing, we'll say that, the story of the horses of Iceland and where they might have come from. It's told in a style very similar to like the prose Edda. I think it's not the prose, the poetic Edda, like the old Norse tales. And it was very fun. I was a little jarred at first for the writing style. I didn't quite expect it, but I ended up really enjoying it in the end. It really did remind me of the Edda from the last time I read that. And I had a good time with this. It just tells the story of a Viking man who goes on this merchant journey and ends up in possession of these may or may not be magical horses. Well, horse that helps him bring horses to Iceland. Very fun. It's not super heavy on the fantasy parts of it. I mean, it's set in our world. It's basically a fable from our world she has made up. So it's something, if you like that sort of thing, if you want something a little lighter fantasy, like a shorter thing, this is one that I would recommend. I really liked it, especially if you like Norse, Scandinavian style stories, that sort of thing, histories. This is a good modern one that I liked. She does have a whole section disclaimer at the end about, you know, I used this, and this, I changed this, and this. History does not align in any way with everything that I have done here. You know, it's very much fantasy, fable, that sort of thing, which was nice. I also finished, before I forget, I did not finish it, never mind, that will be in currently reading. So the last thing that I finished is, I did finish one more thing before I talk about the last big thing. I finished, and I don't have it written down, this got me in trouble the last 2 weeks, Into the Riverlands by Niveau. This is the 3rd book. This I read for Tor.comathon and also for Trans Rights Readathon, which is going on this week. This is the 3rd Singing Hills book. This might have been my favorite. I know I said that about the last one, but I really do mean it this time. This is probably my favorite one. This one is about Chi. They are on their way to a dock town to hop on a boat, I believe, to get back to the monastery, and they fall in with this band of travelers, and they are told these stories by these travelers of these certain adventurers from history, and along the way they're attacked by bandits. They get to this town and some things happen, and you're left wondering how much of history is real, were these people truly fables, and how much can, you know, history become fables? Like, how far does history get twisted before it becomes a story? I don't know. I really loved this. It also really played more with the, like, over-the-top martial arts and fighting styles that you sometimes see in those type of fables and stories, and so it was so good. How many times have I said fables in this video? Let's all eat something sugary and get sick because we don't drink here. The last thing that I read, and the chunkiest thing that I just finished before filming this, and that is the second volume of The Husky and His White Cat Shizun. And this, oh man, I had every intention of actually not finishing this week and focusing on my Trans Right Readathon books, but I got to about right here and I couldn't stop reading. So, as I have mentioned before, this series is about Mo Ran, who is reincarnated after dying by his own hand after he becomes Emperor of the mortal world. He is a tyrant, he is not a nice guy, but he is reincarnated for whatever reason into his 15 or 16-year-old body. He's like, I think maybe 17 by the time this one happens. And he is still under the guidance of his Shizun, and he has two friends. They're also disciples under Shizun. And he vows that in this life he will protect the boy he loves, which is one of the reasons that he went mad and became a tyrant. In his past life, that boy died at the hands, so he claims, of his Shizun. We start to really see a change in attitude in Mo Ran. You're definitely noticing that he's different now than the way he was at the beginning of book one. Things in this life are different. Something else is happening. There's someone else behind the scenes. We quickly realize that someone else is reincarnated along with Mo, and I like calling him Mo. It's getting messy. And I have a theory, and if I'm right, that was good. If I'm right, I really like what they did here. If I'm wrong, that's okay, because this theory is a stretch, I'm aware, but I'm almost certain, based on the events at the ending of this, of who was reincarnated with Mo, and possibly the ramifications of that, and oh man, just saying, wow, I cannot wait for the next one in this. It doesn't come out, I don't think, until September, so I have a while to wait. This will probably be one that I have to skim through again when the third book comes out, but oh man, so far the series is a banger. This second volume, if you are interested in the series, I will say there are a lot of trigger warnings. I will try to find them and list them out in my Goodreads and Storygraph. In this one for sure, we have a lot of violence, blood, death, lots of deaths on pages, death of a child, which caught me off guard. I had to skim those pages. There is threat of sexual assault, some non-consent in there. I mean, it's in there, but it's not, it doesn't overwhelm the story. It's mostly funny, but there are moments of flashes of like, oh, this world is brutal. So there's that to keep in mind. It is beautiful though. So love the series. They are heckin' chunky, but totally worth it, at least for me. So having just finished that, what I am currently reading, I am going to resume my Trans Rights Readathon books because I totally meant to do that. I didn't mean to not. I got hooked, man. I got hooked. So I am going to be jumping into Neon Yang's The Red Threads of Fortune. This will probably be a quick read. I might read this in a sitting, if not two. And then immediately thereafter, I'm going to read A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. This is about our heroine in this one is trans. And so I'm very excited about both of these. I've had both of these for a very long time, so I am excited to get to those. This will also count for my Tor.comathon reads, so killing two birds with one stone. Next week, I'll probably try to start the Luminaries. I don't know if I'll enjoy it, but I'm going to give it a shot. I checked it out of the library, and it is very short, so it will be maybe read. If not read, it'll be DNF'd, and I'll mention it. And I am almost done with The Rise and Reign of the Mammals by Steve Brissett, which is still incredible, still amazing. I'm loving the in-depth discussion of different things that led to the evolution of mammals, their continued like supremacy, and how they came to survive past the era of the dinosaurs. Just fantastic. Also have found more than a few creatures in here that I am going to adapt for my D&D campaigns, so I know a few of you who play in D&D with me watch these videos. So just be prepared for that fun. I'm a nice DM. They're not all going to be mean. Look at this cutie. Look at that cutie. Isn't that fun? Might be a mount for somebody. But anyway, this is going great. I can't wait to pick up another nonfiction once this is over. I'm not sure what I'm going to get to, but I am going to get back into the habit of more nonfiction. It's just, this one's going slow. I think I have perhaps maybe 100 pages left. I should be done by the end of the week. That's it so far. My TBR for April will be up next week. I'm getting ready to film that. And that is it for my weekend review. Let me know what you read. Do you have thoughts? Do you want to read anything that I have picked up? Have you read anything I've picked up? Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye!